Hi everyone, it's Kim Hill, and welcome to Next of Kim, my YouTube channel. I've invited you here, or perhaps you found me from the Times piece, which has been an overwhelmingly amazing blessing. Thank you for coming over and joining me. I had another page that I'm phasing out because I really want this to have a very specific voice. And I really didn't pay a lot of attention to the other YouTube page, as you can see. But through this Times piece and the outpouring of love and over 10,000 comments between the New York Times website and YouTube, hundreds of DMs and messages that came through my website, which as of last night, so far, I've gotten through all of the messages and DMs. I realize now that there's a real specific purpose, and I want to be of service. So this is to kind of talk about, just answer a few questions from the Times piece and give you a little bit of an idea of what I'm trying to create here. So I want to start off by saying this is meant to be a safe space community. I will be moderating this page. Anything that has my picture next to it or my name is coming directly from me. No one will be answering on my behalf. And while YouTube is the Wild Wild West, this is not a space where people are going to be attacked. There's no homophobic comments, racial slurs, pejoratives. I want people to feel free asking comments, even if it's things you think I don't necessarily like or don't, align with my ethos. You will not be attacked by me or removed, but I will be moderating it to make sure that none of you are attacked for your thoughts and your comments. If there's anything that you want to ask me that you don't feel comfortable putting in a comment, my wellness beauty care line is Next of Kim, which when I started this page about 2 months ago, it's before this Times piece, and I hadn't even really started to curate it. So attached to that website is my email. It is info@nextofkimbeauty.com. Again, that's info@nextofkimbeauty.com. And that is where you can ask me personal questions, and then I can bring them and keep you anonymous to this space, because if you feel like that, I guarantee you other people feel like that too. So that's the first thing I want to set up, that I'm really creating this to be a safe space for us to talk about the main things I want to talk about that I feel are a need based on the tens of thousands of, well, not tens of thousands, but 10,000 comments or so, is the kind of how. So I want to talk about how I've maintained through these years as an independent artist. Hasn't always been easy, but I've been able to do it in the way of having my happy, multiple streams of income, and to demystify the shame of artists doing other things to bring income into their homes, about home ownership. This is really for my son. So at the end of the Times piece, when I say it may not be wrapped up in a bow with multi-platinum records in a big house, I'm paraphrasing. I'm on my second house as an independent artist. And the one that I live in now with my son, we bought in February of 2019. I'm saying the year in case you see this after. And he felt a kind of way. And something I'm working on is not being self-deprecating. And some of that comes from really normalizing very spectacular things so that people that don't have those things don't feel bad about not having them. And that is kind of an Achilles heel of the industry. If you don't have this big house, if you don't have these cars, then you're nothing. And I've never subscribed to that. I've always felt like something when I didn't have those things. But I do want to speak to artists and entrepreneurs, founders, startup businesses, about how you can monetize your businesses and how you can become homeowners. It's a lot easier than people think. And it's no discredit if it's something you don't want, but if you do, and I can help you put some things in place and have some resources, it's a really beautiful feeling. I'm a single mother, and we lived for pretty much all of my son's life in Brooklyn. on the top floor of a brownstone. I only had one apartment in Brooklyn, in Bed-Stuy. And it was challenging for him to really need to use his body and jump and be an active boy and feel like we always had to make that small because there were people living downstairs. So having this house and having multiple floors and a backyard and a detached garage is really a blessing, because my happiness is extended now, expounded, because I really get to see a certain kind of freedom. And even if you don't have children, there is a certain kind of freedom in like not worrying about disturbing folks and doing your thing and throwing your own barbecues and, you know what I mean, decorating the way that you want. So we'll talk about that on this space as well. There'll also be tons of funny stuff. Cassius and I started this project called Mother Hood 2013-14. And then I got into this pretty tough custody battle and I backed away from it. And so we're back and we've been creating some really fun content. And that's a big part of my happiness is, you know, finding ways to include people you love in your passion projects. Everybody needs a reason to get outside. Everybody needs a reason to, like, you know what I mean? Do other things and get out of the rut. So we'll be doing that here, as well as some other content. There will be music. Thank you for pushing me. Probably within the next week, I'll have Sugar Hill up on Bandcamp, which I released independently after I left the Peas, to like record stores like Amoeba and Dusty Groove in Chicago, and, you know, sold online and straight up Master P in the trunk of my car and at shows. It was never really a commercial release, and I never put it on iTunes. I just didn't, but I will now. And yeah, so I'm going to answer two more questions that have kind of been the streamline of questions that have come from the piece. My age. I am a very proud 49. I'm 49 years old, and I will be 50 in August of 2020. And this times piece comes at a very interesting time because I've been setting myself up for 50 to work smarter, not work as hard, and work smarter to get more for my work with less input and output. And it's very clumsy right now, but I'm figuring it out. So we can do that together, and also demystifying this thing around age and age shaming, because there's a lot of young, beautiful folks that are like, how did you do all this? And it's like, well, there's a long journey, and you know, I didn't just get here overnight. I had years of being really upset and angry and confused, and you know, I had to work through that through healing and meditation and prayer, and even creating this body care line next of Kim. That is a love letter to what it took for me to get better. And a lot of that started on the road with like not really eating well because you didn't have a lot of options, and a lot of the things you see on the road that are very toxic and really difficult to see as a woman. We'll talk about that. So, okay, I'm 49 years old. My lipstick. So I'm wearing, I don't know if you can see it. I'm wearing this lipstick. It's MAC's Up the Amp, and it's a lipstick I've worn for years. And in the op doc, it looks super purple and much darker. That was a creative choice from the director, though, to have it be super moody. It was shot on the front porch of my house. And, you know, you were kind of dictated by light, natural light, and light that they brought into the space. But it was meant to be very intimate and up close and very moody. I'm still getting used to that, being that up close. And personal, but Up the Amp is a little bit more pink than purple, but that's the lipstick color. A lot of people wanted to know that. I took some notes. I got to the house with Cassius, a lipstick, and that this is a safe space. So yeah, I basically covered it. I want to end with a quote that someone in the comments on YouTube left that just, I mean, seared my heart, because this is a big construct for some people to understand, and those aren't people I'm trying to convince. I go where the love is, and 99.9% of the comments and feedback has been love, and that's what I'm of service to. But someone put up a quote by Heath Ledger that I never heard before. I'm going to read it, and this is really like, so it says, everyone you meet always asks if you have a career, are married, or own a house, as if life is some kind of grocery list, but no one ever asks if you are happy. That's Heath Ledger. I'll say this in closing. Some of the biggest numbers in suicide are people who have from the outside what looks like all the life's traps: big houses, a beautiful family, a great career, buku amounts of money. And behind closed doors, they're dealing with great depression, anxiety, fear, self-doubt, lack of self-worth. And so the main construct that I want to explore here with you is really having your happy. It doesn't mean I'm happy all the time. It doesn't mean I always get it right. But I protect, when I say I protect my happiness, like Mother Wolf with blood on her teeth, I'm not playing with y'all. I protect my happiness. I stay out of drama. I keep drama out my house. I keep haters like at arm's length. And listen, I love a good time to go through People magazine and be like, oh, who wore it better? I love Housewives. I have my not even guilty pleasures, but I don't become allies with that like dark, deep-seated taking joy in somebody's demise. We all have our ups and our downs. And, the road to hell is paved with the best of intentions. So I want to really kind of live in that, in exploring that and helping you, and you're helping me. I don't think you all realize how much this helped move this into a different trajectory. I knew there was work to do here in this space on YouTube, but you really helped solidify it. And you really showed me how much this ideology matters. And I am forever grateful and forever humbled. So you can get your I Have My Happy shirts. I have them on Next of Kim Beauty. And I thank you so much. And there's more to do. I'm going to see you in 2020. I might post some music between now and New Year's, but this real work is going to start top of 2020. So thank you so much. I'm Kim Hill, and I'm excited for the work we're going to do together. Bonsoir.